you very much. Okay, and we are recording. So, welcome everybody to our Sunday night team call. You guys are really going to enjoy this one. This one is talking about the topic of growth mindset. Did I get that right?
Yep, and speaking life into your
Okay.
business.
So, something that we're going to try to institute because we are an oily family, right? Is it only makes sense to use an oil when you're talking about specific subjects. So, in the very similar vein, like other leaders throughout Young Living, we're going to suggest an oil for the evening. So tonight we have picked My Destiny oil. If you were fortunate enough to go to convention this year, this is what they included in the awesome swag bags that they gave us.
A whole oil.
So if you don't have My Destiny oil, maybe try something like Abundance, maybe. But that is the oil that we're going with for tonight. So I encourage you all to grab an oil, oil yourself up, breathe it in, apply it, and we're going to get started in talking about growth mindset. Dana's going to kick us off, and then we're going to turn it over. I'm going to reiterate some points, and then we're going to turn it over to our leaders and some Q&As for the rest of the call. So without further ado, I don't think there's anything else I have before we get started. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I actually, so I recently had an aha moment with myself. And so that's where this kind of subject stems from. And I really, really appreciate it. I'm a big impact theory, Tom Bilyeu fan. Although I will say some of his content you have to be careful of. You have to get the edited stuff. But I really like his idea behind mindset. And it stems a lot from also the power of I am, speaking life into pretty much your life and your business. And even I popped into the 12 Days of Diamonds, and I don't remember her name, but the youngest diamond right now, I want to say it's Bethany maybe, but she had said something too that really resonated with me, that she talked about, again, mindset. And I do feel exactly the way she was saying, where sometimes we followed all of the systems. I went through all of B2NL, like I have my classes, I'm inviting people, I'm very, very up on, posting, like I'm doing everything that everyone is saying, this is what you need to do to be successful. I'm doing it all, right? But why am I still in the same spot I was? And what she had brought out is mindset. Like when you're inviting, what type of mentality do you have? In your brain, are you saying, well, I'm going to have this class, but nobody ever comes to my classes, right? So if that's what is in our brains, that's what we believe when we're inviting, that's what's coming off to other people. So if our mindset is not right going into it, our results are going to show that. And so I know for me, I mean, ever since even beyond starting this business, I have been constantly working on my mindset. I know for a fact I was raised with a fixed mindset. I have a fixed mindset, and I would love to, have more of a growth mindset, but it's something that I'm constantly working on. So there's actually a book called The Growth Mindset, and it's by Carol Dweck, if I'm saying it right, Dweck. It's an excellent book to read, where she really breaks it down, though, from a psychological standpoint. So she actually talks about how the brain operates, how we want to feel good, right? So we do things that make us feel good. So if we grew up with this idea of success versus failure, and we feel like, oh, if I do this, I might fail, then we'll stop. And we're like, oh no. So that happens a lot of times in our type of business, right? So we know we have to book classes, we're having classes, we're excited, and then we have a few classes where nobody shows up. So then we're like, well, am I failing? Wait, am I not doing this right? And so what naturally happens is our mind is like, wait, we want to feel good. This doesn't feel good when people don't come to our classes. This doesn't feel good when, they didn't sign up. But I spent all this time and I did this one-on-one, and like, this is the best thing for them and they didn't buy it. So again, it plays into that growth mindset. One of the quotes in that book that I really, really liked, it says, don't praise intelligence, praise the process. So even for ourselves, when we reflect more on the journey versus as much what the result was, then we will want to continue to grow. We want to continue to work towards that. So I booked my class and I have done A, B, and C to make it successful, right? So that's what you praise yourself for. I did a good job because I invited my 50 people and I got on those phones, and that was hard for me. And so I know for me personally, it took a lot of reflection for me to really, really hone in for myself that it's like, I know I'm very introverted. I know for me, like, honestly, I don't want to talk to people, but I'm in a people business. I have to talk to people. But if my attitude towards communicating with people, if they can tell and sense what I'm doing or what I'm not doing, then those are what's going to be my results. So just a little more on like a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset, they believe that pretty much your life is fixed. So what dictates where you are, maybe be the parents you have, maybe be where you were born, maybe the amount of education that you had. A fixed mindset feels like, oh, well, these are the cards that I was dealt, so that's what it's going to be. And so then you never try to maneuver or master skills or get better in any areas, because you're like, well, this is who I am. This is my personality. So, oh, well, I'm introverted, so I don't do classes, or I'm introverted, so I don't, or I'm extroverted, so I'm not going to be organized, or whatever it might be. I don't know if that wasn't a good example, but whatever it might be. So they seek for situations, and they seek things that are going to make them feel comfortable. So it might be a job where, well, this is where the security is, so it makes you feel comfortable. So they stay in that bubble and they never grow. They never get beyond that. They will always be the employee. They will always be, and go so far. A growth mindset, on the other hand, they like to challenge themselves. They believe that they can grow and anything's possible. They're like, oh, wait, you said I couldn't do what? Okay, that's what I'm gonna do, right? They believe that anything can change. They believe that they can hone in on skills. That doesn't mean that they think that they're gonna be the best at everything. It just means that I could be better than what I was. They're not worried about comparing themselves to what the person over there is doing. They're more concerned about, well, what can I do? They know themselves, and they know where they can reflect on to make them better. And that's important too. And you can kind of tell if you might have more of a fixed mindset, because when you see someone else succeed, what is your reaction to that? Is your reaction, oh, I can't believe they succeeded. I have to either do better and do what they do, or I will never be able to be as good as them. Do we compare ourselves to them, or we're like, oh, that's awesome, good for you, great, and then we hone in on our skills and back reflecting on ourselves? That would be more of a growth mindset. So again, in that book, though, she talks about how the brain rewires itself, it reconstructs. So when we start stretching ourselves, when we start expanding, our brain actually changes too, which is an awesome, awesome thing. So if you have a fixed mindset, it's not like all is lost, but you do need to recognize it, not ignore it. You need to recognize when, oh, no, this is not the right mindset, and then try to shift and change it.
My turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to stop for a second and just give you a lot of praise, just because you mentioned that you had a fixed mindset, and for you to be in the position that you are now, to be in front of the camera and doing things, even with our health talk with the mods, is very impressive. So I do have to applaud you for that. But I want to add to what Dana was saying, just because this business is all about you. And so it's very interesting that we have all of these people that come from, how's the quote go? Started from the bottom, now they're here. So you have all of these people that they weren't well off when they first started. but they were able to succeed in Young Living. And I've noticed that typically it is because they have allowed themselves to grow and to change their mindset. So, like Dana was talking about, we are influenced by our parents from a young age. We are influenced by our environment, the chemistry of our body, and there are a lot of factors that we may not have had control over through the years. But should we allow that to be an excuse or a reason why we can't succeed? I think of the book, The Cash Flow Quadrant is probably one of my favorite books by Robert T. Kiyosaki, because it talks about changing your mindset and it talks about how people make money. And so you do have someone like the employee that's trying to get over to the business owner, which is like something that you have with Young Living. But the problem is, if we still have the employee mindset, how do we operate a business if we don't develop that mindset? So like Dana was saying, say you have a class and you've done all of the prep work and you've invited as many people as you could and no one showed up. Is your mindset that you failed? Or is your mindset that says that, hey, I did everything that I was supposed to. I followed the system to be successful in this business. Congratulations to me. I actually stuck it out and it caused you to grow a little bit in that circumstance. So then you can go back and objectively look at the situation and say, okay, what didn't work this time? How can I improve? What didn't I follow to a T that caused me to have this result? So we don't want to stay stagnant because this business is all about you. And so it's all about you continuing to grow. And if you're staying stagnant, what's happening is you're actually lagging behind, right? So it's very important that we kind of become self-aware and we're able to look at our actions, look at our thought process and how we view things in this business, because you're going to go far as long as you believe that you can.
Mm-hmm.
There are people, and I'm talking across the board in network marketing, who have been in other network marketing companies even before they got to Young Living. And Young Living is a great company, the best network marketing company that we've ever come across, right? And I know people that have waited like 9 to 10 years before they became successful. But the problem is it took, I shouldn't even say problem, but it took them that 9 to 10 years to grow to a point where they were able to grab their business by the reins and say, hey, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to run with it. And so it's very important, not even just from a business standpoint, right? But if you cultivate growth within your business, you're going to notice it starts to affect all other areas of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are people that get involved with Young Living, not necessarily just because of oils. Maybe they're looking for friendships. Young Living has that. But if we have this fixed mindset that says, hey, I'll never have any friends, will you allow yourself to be open to that opportunity? Young Living has the money. The money is there. Again, do you allow yourself to grow in your mentality to be able to take advantage of that? Same thing with our health as well.
Mm-hmm.
Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, and when you're speaking that, your brain and your body cannot partner with it if it doesn't believe it. So it's so important that when you're speaking that, like, you see it and you keep reminding yourself of what it is. So I know for us, or for me, what I have to do on the door when we go out of our home, like it says, we are silver leaders, and this is the SMART goal to get us there. The door to our bedroom, it says we are silver leaders, right? Because that is our next stepping stone in our journey. That's not our destination, but that's our next stepping stone. So I have to see that every day. I have to partner with that. I have my vision board where I work. I have, well, we didn't hear silver and six, but now my gold and six that I have to hit. And I have my income disclosure where I can see it every day. So that way, when I'm speaking it, over time, if I speak it enough, then my mind can partner with what I want to happen. I can move myself in that direction to make it happen.
Okay, so very good. At this point, why don't we open it up to some of the leaders who are on the line? I know Tashina is there, but anything that you'd like to add on how important it is to have a growth mindset, especially in this business?
Yeah, it's definitely 100% critical. And It's something that you have to work on constantly and do on a daily basis. So um, I have my daily affirmations that I do, and a lot of those daily affirmations are things that I want to be, down to my personality. And I know, like, when we start talking about personalities and stuff like that, a lot of them maybe like rebels or blues, like they hate being like boxed in. But the reason why we do that is to know what our strengths are, how we can communicate better with other people, and what we need to work on. So like a lot of the things that exist on my list of things that I'm working on are things that probably are core red personalities. But if someone comes to me and they say, okay, you were kind of aggressive when you did that, my reaction is not, well, I'm a red, that's the way I am. I'm an extrovert, that's the way I am. If I try to examine my life and say, okay, is this something I need to work on? And then it goes on to my list of affirmations. People see me as non-aggressive. That's one of the affirmations that I say on a daily basis. Or right now I'm struggling with balance in my house because I'm never here. So one of the things that I have on here is I'm a clean freak. I'm nowhere close to being a clean freak, but unless I start telling myself that, I'm a discouraged perfectionist that doesn't want to touch anything because I don't have enough time to do it. But you have to speak where you want to be, where you need to grow to, and your mind really will conform to that. And there's been plenty of times where, like, I totally believe in the power of I am, where I've said something that I thought was maybe crazy, but I wanted it. Like, there was one time where I wasn't doing anything for the majority of the month, and I was like, I'm gonna get 3 signups today. And we went to a vendor event. Never, ever sell kits at vendor events, ever. Diffused abundance, made friends with everybody there. And I think I sold 2 kits and Dana sold 2 kits at that vendor event. One on the spot and one from a follow-up later. And then I literally was messaging people all night until 11:45, and I got my other 2 kit sales. One was a customer and one was a reactivation. But when you tell yourself that you need to do it, then your brain starts thinking of the ways to make it actually happen. So if it's a large goal, something like hitting your next rank, you got to tell yourself every day and then break that down. Like, we know in order to succeed in this, from the game plan and from Vital 180, you know, we keep listening to these diamonds and trying to find these nuggets, but at the end of the day, you got to raise up leaders. If you're going to be a silver, you got to have 2 leaders that want to work with you, and you got to do 4 parties a day. So if you don't, or 4 parties a month rather. So if that's part of what you're struggling with, getting your 4 parties a month in, then it needs to be on your daily goals. Like, it's on my daily goals because I have not consistently for a year ever had 4 parties a month consistently for a year. I've never done that. And I'm a silver. So it's on my daily goals. I have 4 YL parties a month. So whatever you need to grow towards to get your goals, speak it into your life every single day.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Tashina. One more thing that I wanted to add to that, because Dana had kind of touched on it, is that you project that. And so people are either drawn to it or pushed away from that. So with the with the idea of developing leaders, you want to develop a mindset and pretty much a personality that draws and attracts people to you, right? Because some people are just looking for that abundance. And so, like Tashina mentioned, it's very important that you speak that, the power of I am, speak that into yourself so that your brain is able actually to connect the 2 pieces, right? Um, because I feel like that's probably the biggest thing. People sometimes think it's confidence, and it's not always confidence, but sometimes it's just a conscious effort to do that. So it's very important that we're cognizant of how we're portraying ourselves, the mindset that we're presenting. Oh, Tashina says she has 6 amazing leaders on her team, and with more to follow, because every day she says that, right? So, okay, we have a few more people who have joined us. We are talking about the importance of having a growth mindset within this business. Is there anything that anyone else on the line would like to contribute? If not, I can continue to talk as well. That's fine. But why don't we do this then? Why don't we take a couple minutes to do a little Q&A? So this call is for the team and for the benefit of anyone who is on there. So take this time if you have any questions. It can be about anything business related, anything YL related to help you succeed within your business. How about we go with that and see if we can answer some of those questions? Can't see how we're doing on time. Oh, we're doing good.
Okay, does this mean you want me to ask a question?
Go ahead, Monica.
Okay, so I'm going to ask this question basically because I assume other people are going to be watching.
Okay.
And that is, how do you get past the emotion when you just don't believe what you're saying, or you have that moment where you feel like this is just stupid when you're saying the positive affirmations type of thing? What do you do to get past that?
I think that's a great question. I can give from my personal experience, because I have felt like that. There have been certain times, especially my wife is very good about reminding me to be conscious of what I speak and how I say it. She even has moments where she says, you have to get into the power pose. But the reality is you just have to do it, because think about even the way that our oils have been able to work on our body and how certain influence help to retrain our brain. So a consistent action is actually going to help to retrain the way that you think. So at that moment, you might be thinking this is stupid, or I don't feel like doing this, but your brain does not know the difference. See, because we're tying it to our emotional state. So in that moment, who is it that says just do it? Besides Nike.
I forgot his name again.
But it's so important that you just do it, because eventually you will get past that.
I will say this though too, because I still, like, I literally every single day I have to listen to somebody else's voice telling me, you are great, this is amazing, you got this. But along with that, I also have like my oils that I connect with that. So the gifts, valor, like those are ones that every day I connect that positive with. So even when I'm in that negative state or that negative mode, I connect myself back to those oils. I do also try to implement a lot of the AFT and whatnot as well, just because I do feel like that helps a lot. So also, I like forgiveness, because sometimes the reality is I'm just not going to feel what I'm saying, even though I want to. But in this moment, I'm just going to have to forgive myself for not being where I want to be, and mentally say tomorrow I'm going to do better. So I'm going to start the day again with all my positive, everybody else talking into me and speaking to me and feeling me. And then I'm going to retry it again.
And I think one more thing to add to that is, remember that if you're on this call, you're a leader, right? And so you have to remind yourself that not only are you projecting this for your business, but you could be projecting yourself onto your other leaders. So if those who follow you sense that you don't believe that you can do this, then how do you think that's going to affect your business? If those who you have sold kits to that may not be trying to actively produce, maybe they're just a good customer, how do you think it's going to affect them? So you're going to notice that it negatively affects your business. So when you look at the external factors for that, you have to decide what's more important. Me looking good and not feeling silly, or me being successful in this business, and weigh the two against themselves. Leah's got her hand up. Go ahead, Leah.
Dana, I wrote that down. I am not going to forget that, because I get myself in that mode that when your own voice, your own inside voice can't say it, doesn't believe it, use somebody else's. That was profound. My question is, I guess this would extend over not just to finding leaders, and not just as Tashina said right as I came on, but as far as consistently having classes, or classes could be one-on-ones or vendor events, whatever your mode is for finding prospects. But the same would go for, I noticed there's a lot of, not so much, but like there's customers instead of kits, or we have a lot of people that never see the power of ER. I think a lot of that comes from our own internal beliefs too, because I can, you can look at a team's numbers and little bits of pockets of your own legs and say, oh, look at, she's enrolled 10 people and none of them ever got on ER. You can look at that and see that it's probably a belief thing of their own, or she's only ever enrolled customers or people with the $45 kit that get like 2 oils, which the help that they're going to get from that is limited by what they have in their house, And that all comes really back to that growth mindset that you said, Anthony, is that if you have that belief in it, that they need this to get help, and that as being on Essential Rewards means their life's going to change, then it was a rhetorical question that I meant to answer myself. So I apologize if I just went off. But as far as Essential Rewards and actually getting kits for people.
No, I totally agree with that. That's kind of, I think, what I was trying to get across as well. But
I might have missed it in the beginning. I'm sorry, I was reluctant.
I think I only touched on one avenue of it, but that's a very good point, because I think of even Shannon Hudson. So I remember talking to her and asking her about how did she get so many people on ER, and just the way that it's a belief system. She's like, everyone needs to have oils in their house and everyone needs to be on ER. That's how she presents it. This is what you do. You get your kit. This is what you can place for your order for ER next month. She doesn't ask them, would you like to be on ER? She doesn't get squirrely about it, but she presents those 2 options as the only way. Go ahead, Monica.
Okay, so one thing that came to mind as you guys were talking is actually physically writing down some of your goals, not just speaking them. Speaking them is important, but when you write them down, like you guys were talking about how you have a sign on your doors that you are silver leaders. Physically writing that down is actually really beneficial to the brain because it sends you that additional message. So you're engaging not just auditory responses with your brain, but also physical responses by writing that out.
Yeah, very good point, Monica. So it's very important to hit on all the senses there, more than just auditory, but visual as well. When you see it every day, then you can see it, right? Okay, so we are getting down to the tail end of the call. Zoom is telling me that I need to upgrade or end our call soon. Is there anything that you guys would like to add before we end off the call? So at this moment, that would be any recognitions that you'd like to make, any events that you would like to promote, besides Shannon Hudson's event. Well, not Shannon Hudson's event, but the Passion Rally hosted by Shannon Hudson.
The rally.
The rally.
January 13th.
I do want to take a minute, though, to give some recognition because Shalonda down in North Carolina, am I close? I apologize, Shalonda, if I didn't get that right. She did enroll someone, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I have the wrong person. I have to go back and look at that. Fanny, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm going to be in so much trouble. And I do want to give recognition to Sonia and Karen because they are knocking it out the park. Nikki is continuing to knock it out the park. She enrolled somebody else this week. and Terry is continuing to do her thing down in North Carolina. So I do want to give that recognition to our leaders on our team. If there was anyone that you guys would like to shout out or any events that you would like to promote, now's the time to do it.
So this is Tashina. I would like to give a shout out to Kate because she's going to be having her first class. And if you guys could be on it with her, I would greatly appreciate it. Even though I'm listed as one of the hosts, she's the primary host. I'm actually going to be at my CO visit, so I will not be live. And I need all of you guys that have done Facebook classes before and are experts at it to be present and commenting and inviting your people and cheering her on, and be ready to repost something from the intro to oils if it don't show up like it's supposed to, and support her. But I'm really proud of her for taking control and responsibility of her business, and she's going to be moving forward for the rest of the month.
Yay!
Yay, Kate.
Tashina, you had somebody on your team that enrolled a first member too, didn't you? It was right at the end of November.
Yeah, so Patrice had an amazing vendor event. Out of the kindness of her heart, she had like 5 different people, and she's not necessarily a builder with Young Living, but a couple of the people that came there were interested, and she had one sign up so she can get her ER paid for because she's on ER now, and hoping to follow up with the.
Cool. And then on Karen's team, I know sometimes she gets on this call. I didn't see her name though. She had somebody on her team. She enrolled at a vendor event, and then that person enrolled their friend.
Nice.
It worked out really good.
Strength in numbers, guys. So you can see that people are putting forth plenty of effort and they're having success. So if you feel like you're not, remember that there's still growth and you will grow.
All right. So I will say classes we have coming up Friday evening. We have an intro to oils class at my spot. So that'll be Greenfield Road between 12 and 13 Mile. That'll be at 6:30 p.m. And then for our team, we will have everyone over on the 22nd, which is the following Friday evening. And then we have a few team members, I believe, that have some classes going on as well.
Yeah, the group gathering is going to be game night is going to be the theme. So we'll be rewarding individuals with some free product. And I haven't thought of the game because it does have to be single player, because unfortunately I can't award a whole team. But you guys are more than welcome to join us for that. That will be Friday at 6:30 as well. The following Friday, not this Friday. Leah, go ahead.
I would be happy to donate a few gifts.
Oh, yay.
Oh, sounds like we might be doing some team-based games then.
I mean, they might be some of that sugar scrub I made this week on the Facebook page, but it smells divine. And if you watch the video, it must taste delicious too, because the girls were eating it by the spoonful.
Well, there you have it. Okay, sounds good. So we'll plan for that. I think that's it then. On Adam Green. So Tashina, Adam has a call going on, or he has a class? That's a question.
I think he's been interviewed by Richard, guy that made the 4-year career, right?
Is that tonight?
It's 8:30. It's right now. It's right now.
Well, thank you for joining us first, because we appreciate it. I don't even know Adam Green, but I understand you guys like him. That's cool. Okay, well then we'll go ahead and close out our call, because I know you guys would like to hop on that call as well. Thank everyone for being on this week, and till then, I hope you guys were able to benefit and learn something. But till the next call, we'll see you guys next week. And everyone, take care. Good night.
Thank you.